Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're well. So I have over the years collected a couple fragrances here and there. And by a couple, I mean just too many. I can't escape them. They're everywhere. They're always behind me, in front of me, to the sides. When I sleep, fragrances everywhere. Okay, I'm better. But yeah, I own a lot of them. I own many thousands of fragrances. And with that many fragrances, a lot of them don't get used very often, we could say. But today, we're not talking about that island of misfit fragrances that is sad and underused. We're talking about the ones that I wear more often. Ones that I've worn enough that there's a little dent in those bottles. Ones that I've actually gone through multiple bottles of even. And we're keeping it strictly designers today, so 10 different designer fragrances. All of them are linked down below. Let's jump straight into it with my first one, which is actually right in here. Versace Pour Homme. See that? Very handy, very travel friendly. This is just one of those easygoing, anytime sort of fragrances, extremely versatile, compliment pulling, and inexpensive. And I think this is actually one of the better office fragrances on the market still today. I know a lot of people maybe wouldn't think of it that way. They'd think of it as more of like a casual summertime fragrance, but I'm telling you, in the office, stuff is fantastic because it's very clean, it's fresh, it's a hint of sweet. People love it. It's very inoffensive. And like I said, doesn't cost that much either. So it makes a great daily driver sort of fragrance, which is what I used it for a long, long time. Of course, there are those similarities that it has with Missoni Wave and also Allure Homme Sport. But of the three, to me, this is the brightest. This is the cleanest of the bunch. Admittedly, Allure Homme Sport has more heft, more body, a little more depth to it. But if we're just talking about, like I said, something easy breezy clean, you know, this is the best of the bunch. In terms of notes, you've got lemon, bergamot, neroli, even a little bit of rose, geranium, clary sage, tonka, musk, and amber as well. Also a touch of cedar in there, a little bit of woodiness, not too much though. It's a lovely scent and really anybody can wear this. Older guys can wear it, middle-aged, younger, doesn't matter. And it's been out for almost 18 years, so it's almost an adult. I think 17 years is how long it's been out as of right now, but even with it being that old, it doesn't smell dated at all. Before we hop to the next fragrance, guys, an update on those codes. The Jomashop codes are working correctly in the app. For the first couple weeks of January, they were screwed up, so I'm sorry about that. But they are working now, so just a follow up there. A few of you guys hit me up and let me know. And then there are also all the other codes that you see here, like the perfume box, among many others that you can use to save money on different websites. Next up, Ferragamo Uomo. Now I know you're taking a look at this bottle and going, I don't know, man, that looks pretty full right there. Doesn't look like you've put much of a dent in that at all. But this is not my first bottle of Ferragamo Uomo. It is not, but it is nicely aged now, so that's cool. Got that nice color scheme going on, you know? It's a little darker. It's kind of like a nice bourbon or whiskey. Stupid. So yeah, not my first bottle of Uomo, and possibly not my last, but probably realistically it is. I got too much crap, man. I love Ferragamo Uomo, especially when it's cheap. 35 bucks or so, that's what it's gonna run you at most discounters. Hopefully it stays that way for a long, long time so more people can pick this up on the cheap and show it the love it deserves. So in terms of notes, this one has cardamom and black pepper off the top. Nice, warm, sweet, spicy. Also has a tiramisu note. Technically, if you go to Fragrantica, I think they just list it as sweet notes. And they have like a picture of gumdrops. But yeah, it's not gumdrops, it's tiramisu. There's also ambroxan, orange blossom, and tonka in here. A little bit of woodiness as well. So it's a coffee fragrance, but more of a sweet coffee. There is like a slight roast coffee bean aspect to it, but it's not so much that it becomes like a burnt coffee or anything like that. It's got great projection and longevity, a really solid fall and wintertime fragrance that cuts through the cold, gets you noticed, and flies way under the radar. Because your average bro out there, you know, they're gonna be rocking that Dior Sauvage, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you love Dior Sauvage, more power to you. Whatever makes you happy is what you should be wearing. But I'm just saying, you know, a lot of people are gonna be wearing that, they're gonna be rocking that. They don't know about this. And it's actually a low-key compliment monster. It's always done really well for me. You do have to obviously enjoy a sweet kind of coffee fragrance, but as long as you do, man, that stuff is great. It'll set you apart and for a cheap price, which is why I used to hammer it. And that's why my bottle right now looks straight up full. To be fair, when my other bottle got down to like here, I gave it to my brother, but you know, what are you gonna do? I didn't like use 100,000% of it. Now time for another fragrance that I love that flies under the radar quite a bit. It's Y Live from Yves Saint Laurent. This is one that just grew on me more and more and more over time. And really, this one and like Y Eau Fraiche are essentially like the redheaded stepchildren of the Y line, the black sheep of the line. At least until they came out with Elixir. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right or am I right or am I right? Right. But yeah, Y Eau Fraiche, Y Live, you know, they never really hit the same way as Y Eau de Parfum, Y Eau de Toilette, Le Parfum, or Eau de Parfum Intense. In the US, really, you could only pick this up from discounters, so there's a good reason for it in the US anyway. So this one is sort of like a mix, a little bit, Invictus with Y. Kind of a dumbed down way to say it, but that's kind of how it comes across. So it has that bubblegummy sweet aspect from Invictus, kind of blended together with some of the aromatic touches of the Y line and also kind of some of the sweetness from the Y line too. And that sounds like it would be just too much, like an overload of sweetness, headache inducing, gross. And yet, it works really well. I'm talking real well, dude. It works good, okay? It works gooder than hell, let me tell you, brother. You want to get yourself noticed, brother? That'll do it for you, Peebo. I'm telling you, dude, man. Hell yeah. Versatile, easy to wear, nice daytime fragrance, nighttime fragrance, don't matter. The sweetness is balanced really well with a fresh aspect to the scent. Spring, summer, fall, frankly, winter also. That. Just as far as unsolicited compliments from people I don't know, this is one of the best ones I've ever owned. And yet it never took off in a massive way. And it is more difficult to find nowadays. So be aware of that. This one is not cheap anymore. A lot of times you can't find it at discounters in the US. As of this video, I think the only one that has it is FragranceNet. And who knows, you know, as time goes, maybe they sell out, somebody else gets it in stock, who knows? I said that like 12 times, who knows, who knows, who knows? But they have it and it's like 115, 120, something like that. So yeah, not super cheap. Let's hop on over to this next. Luna Rossa Black, Prada. I have always really enjoyed this one. And you know, it's kind of a theme here with some of these, but kind of the same thing going on here as with these. Not in the sense of this smells like this or anything like that, but in the sense of it's a Prada, it's from the Luna Rossa line, right? Pretty well known, but as far as your average Joe, your normal person who maybe has like a few bottles of fragrances or whatever, not too many of them are wearing Luna Rossa Black. Now, I'm not saying all the fragrances today are gonna be like that. Some of these fragrances coming up are just straight up monstrous releases that lots and lots and lots of people have, but we're starting off with some that are a little more under the radar. Look, I know that the majority of you out there are completely aware of these, okay? I'm just talking about, again, your Broseph McJoseph, okay? Broseph McJoseph, probably not wearing Luna Rossa Black. So in terms of notes, kind of simple. There's a lot of tonka in here. There's also angelica, patchouli, amber musk, touch of bergamot, not too much. It's got this kind of mysterious, dark aspect to it, a bit sweet, but at the same time slightly rubbery in a really appealing way. Reminds me of fragrances from years gone by, like Midnight in Paris from Van Cleef & Arpels, and also Bulgari Black. Both of those discontinued and much more expensive than they used to be. It's another one more for fall and winter time. A little bit more of an evening time fragrance as well, but I like that one so much, I'll just wear it kind of whenever I can fit it in. That's what she said. That's what she said! So Luna Rossa Black, gotta go with that one. Wonderful fragrance. Okay, next one, no brainer, Acqua di Gio. This is Profondo Eau de Parfum. This is the new iteration bottle style, but the previous iteration, the original Profondo, I wore that one out. So this one right here, I obviously haven't worn as much because it's newer, it's replaced the original Profondo, but I actually really love what they did here with the reformulation slash relaunch slash reincarnation slash whatever you want to call it. Armani has just gone kind of crazy with reformulations and relaunches and everything else. Last year was kind of nuts frankly, just hard to keep up with everything they were doing because a lot of it they weren't even really announcing. It was just like, oh, by the way, it's new or something. I don't know, man. Bottles changed. Figure out on your own if we change the fragrance, we ain't gonna tell you. Surprise! Like, what are you smoking? Like, what are you guys doing? But yeah, they switched it up a bit, came out with this new Profondo Eau de Parfum. I actually really love it. I actually even like it a little more than the original, which is why that's the one that's sitting here in front of me, but I love them both, okay? Both Profondo Eau de Parfums. The Parfum iteration, not quite as much. I don't like that one as much. I've always been a huge Acqua di Gio fan from the original Eau de Toilette. And if we're talking all time, the original Acqua di Gio I've probably worn more than every fragrance, basically like that one and Drakkar Noir that's hanging out back here. But if we're talking nowadays, I wear this one a little bit more. So it's got that Acqua di Gio DNA, modernized, a little bit more masculine, the floral stripped away, more of a minerality, a nice sweetness off the top, a little green edge as well. Obviously also aquatic, otherwise would it really be an Acqua di Gio? So Acqua di Gio Profondo, love that. Spring, summer, fall, and I'll wear it during the winter also. Who cares? Smells good. Bit of a hype beast next. Le Beau Le Parfum from Jean Paul Gaultier. This is one that especially got a lot of use through 2023, but it's one that I like to wear from time to time. And especially, you know, going through like fall, winter, early spring. This is the one from the line that I reach for. A little bit heavier, a little bit creamier compared to the original Le Beau Eau de Toilette. In terms of notes, you got coconut in there, you have pineapple, iris, tonka, also additional woods, amber. It's got a nice, like I said, creamy aspect to it, tropical aspect. So it's got a hint of freshness to it, obviously. Maybe more than a hint, but it is heavier than your more typical late spring, summertime fragrance. It's got good projection, good longevity. It can be real heavy if you spray a lot of it on, but it is a monster at garnering attention. So it's a really good confidence booster. One of those scents that you can spray on that's gonna be different than most other popular fragrances out there, you know, help you stand out a little bit. And I really enjoy just the way it comes across, the way it evolves on my skin. It smells great. Next up, Christian Dior Homme 2020. And this one looks like it doesn't have a huge amount missing, and yet I have gotten pretty good amount of wear out of this. It's very versatile, fresh, spicy, woodsy. So in terms of notes, bergamot, pink pepper, ISOE super, which lends kind of a cedary scent profile to the fragrance. There's also vetiver, cashmere, and elemi as well. And sometimes, you know, I'll be in a Dior Homme 2020 mood, but if it's a little bit warmer out, I'll go Dior Homme Sport. So it's kind of like I interchange between those two. Maybe I should have just put those both here together as one because they are similar in a lot of ways. And sometimes, you know, depending on where I'm going, what I'm doing, like I said, temperature and everything, I may go this one or I may go Dior Homme Sport. But it's a fragrance I've grown to really appreciate. Supreme versatility, just about year round, daytime, nighttime, don't matter. About any age range, younger guys, older guys, also doesn't matter. So if you enjoy clean, woody, fresh, spicy fragrances, it's one that I would absolutely tell you to check out. Then we've got YSL Myself. This is just one of those, my brain isn't even working, I will wear that fragrances. To a lesser extent, like Polo 67 is kind of that for me here ever since that one came out as well. So basically it's just that kind of fragrance that's pretty simple, not a whole heck of a lot going on there. Clean orange blossom, white florals. You know, it has kind of a clean clothing aspect to it, but extremely appealing, very easy to wear. People love it. And so it's one of those scents that you can just grab, hit a few sprays like that, you're good to go. So it is like the opposite of an avant-garde niche fragrance in pretty much every way you could imagine. It's simplified, it's made to be used as often as possible, because a lot of fragrances that are leaning more artistic, they may smell absolutely amazing, but then you smell it and you're like, when am I gonna wear it? Like once a year, maybe, you know? This is the type of fragrance that you just grab, spray, and go all week, 7 days in a row, and it works every single day. So yeah, you just want something straightforward, clean, appealing, a little bit sweet, bergamot, orange blossom, amber fix, that's that. Now we got a Vanilla Bomb Invictus Victory Elixir. That is crazy addictive. Like, once that one gets a hold of you, if you like that style of fragrance, you're done.
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done.
You're gonna be just blasting this on nonstop. It really does have, like I said, an extremely addictive scent profile to it. It's like candy for the nose, you know? Oh, wait, nose candy? Ooh, that's something different. But it kind of is. You know, like how sweets are just addictive. You just want to keep eating them. That's kind of an issue. You know, I'm putting on some pounds. That's what that's like when you smell it. It's got a bunch of vanilla and tonka, and it's a sparkling vanilla, effervescent, very sweet, bubbly almost. You also have lavender, cardamom, a little bit of pepper, incense, and patchouli. It has bits and pieces of a bunch of different fragrances in there. Even like a little touch of Le Beau Le Parfum is sprinkled in here. But I've said before, no other fragrance pulls it off quite the same way Invictus Victory Elixir does. It is absurd how much you just want to keep smelling that. So it's very addictive. Last but not least, L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum from Guerlain. And this is my newer bottle. My old bottle, which was in the old bottle style, unfortunately, that's pretty much empty. And I know some people don't agree with this, but I do very much prefer the old bottle style of L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. I feel like they lost a lot of their character with these new ones. Everything looks the exact same color label, you know, no little decorations on the side, no different colors. Very bland, very boring. Saves money, I guess, but yeah. Thankfully, the fragrance, still really good. A lot of cherry in there, especially off the top. It just kind of hits you right in the face. Then there's also almond, spicy notes, lavender, vanilla, tonka, leather, a little bit of incense in here as well. Very sweet, but also smooth, well done. Another big compliment puller, and a scent that's kind of one of those if you know type of fragrances. Everybody knows it's never gonna compete with Dior Sauvage again, to bring that one up in terms of sales, but for people that know about L'Homme Ideal and that lineup, pretty much everybody has one that's their kind of go-to, and it's a lineup that absolutely kills. People love it. And L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum is the one that I have worn the most. Now, I'm not saying that as of today, right this moment, it's necessarily the absolute pinnacle best of the best, because Extreme is really good as well. L'Entonce is very nice. Even the original doesn't get a lot of love, but it's good too. But I have worn it the most, so that's why it's here. So there we go, guys. 10 of the fragrances that I have worn very heavily over the past few years. By and large, these are fragrances that are pretty easy to wear. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are a little bit more under the radar as far as just your actual top sellers out there. And in general, they're just fragrances that make me happy, which is the most important thing. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.